Alright, so raise of hands, who here likes lionfish? Or fish in general? You like to eat? So do I. In fact, my parents owned restaurants growing up, and that's where I fell in love with eating seafood. My name is CatZe Worrell, and today I'm going to convince you how eating lionfish can benefit the environment. I will do this by providing history and introducing the problem that the lionfish pose. I'm explaining how humans are getting involved. I'll describe what it's like to eat the lionfish, and I'll share locations around Florida you can go to try them. This is all in hopes we can help to control their overpopulation. To begin, I will share history about the lionfish and the problem that they pose. According to Katie Free, author of The Lionfish Invasion for the Scholastic Journal, lionfish began appearing in Florida in the 1980s. Specifically, the Indo-Pacific lionfish, or red lionfish, as Florida locals like to call them. Originally, they were found in the South Pacific and Indian Oceans, but it's thought a pet owner released one off the coast of Florida, not knowing the impact it would have. They began quickly overpopulating the Atlantic, Caribbean, and Gulf waters. This fish is capable of killing off many of Florida's smaller fish species that support the marine ecosystem. This is because they have two advantages. First one being their life cycle. Young lionfish are protected at birth because the female produces a chemical deterrent into her egg sac. This creates a higher chance of survival for the young fish. According to Chris Stallings, a marine biologist and associate professor at the University of South Florida College of Marine Science, an adult female can lay anywhere from 15 to 30,000 eggs every 4 days. This equals 2 million eggs per lionfish per year. Lionfish can live up to 16 years because they have few local predators. This brings us to the second advantage that the lionfish has, their lack of natural predators. Local marine life actually does not acknowledge lionfish as a food source because they are not native to this area. They also have up to 18 venomous spines, these on the top and these on the bottom, that act as a deterrent to larger fish. To help combat this issue, humans have begun to intervene. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission has put no limit to how many you can catch or when you can catch them. So it's open season on the lionfish. This has started lionfish hunts where divers and fishermen actually compete to catch as many lionfish as possible. It's very rare to catch a lionfish from a pole or net, so you have to go spearfishing and diving to catch them. Many of the fish caught go to research facilities, schools, and scientists to help them study the overpopulation of this fish. With this abundant new resource, the potential for restaurants to offer a unique item to their menu was introduced. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, has launched the Eat Lionfish campaign and is working to put the invasive lionfish on the menu at top U.S. restaurants. They use the slogan, "Eat them to beat them." It's actually a common misconception to think the lionfish is poisonous. They are venomous, but there's a difference between poison and venom. Poison you have to either ingest, So that means you breathe it in, you eat it, or it comes in contact with your skin. Venom has to be injected into your bloodstream, so either through fangs, a stinger, or some sort of injectable. Luckily, this venom does not impact the meat and skin of the lionfish, and the venom can actually be removed with a pair of kitchen scissors. The meat of the lionfish is white, flaky, and mild, and similar in taste to snapper. The lionfish meat is also very high in omega-3 fatty acids, which help to reduce cholesterol. And in comparison to a lot of other fish we eat, they have lower mercury content. Marcia Biggs, a writer for Bay Soundings News Journal, even notes that lionfish are the most sustainable fish you can order off of a menu. Now that you know why we should eat lionfish and what they might taste like, I will tell you where you can go to try them. There are multiple locations around Florida that sell or serve the lionfish. But if you're interested in a bit of an adventure, you can visit Marina Cantina in downtown Clearwater and hop on a chartered boat and try your hand at spearfishing. After returning, you can get your fish filleted and cooked right next door at the Salt Cracker Fish Camp. For the less adventurous crowd, there are multiple restaurants and grocery stores selling lionfish, including Whole Foods, Publix upon request, Indigenous, and Rum Fish Grill. In conclusion, I hope with this new information, I have convinced you why eating lionfish can benefit the environment. I introduced the lionfish and the problem that they pose. I explained how humans are getting involved. I described what it might be like to eat the lionfish, and I shared locations around Florida you can try them. I hope you will join the efforts to control this invasive species and eat them to beat them. All right, does anyone have any questions? I think I'm supposed to skate. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about the lionfish? No?
You're pretty clear.
Okay, Tess, what's your question?
During your research, is spearfishing the only way to catch them?
It's not the only way, but they normally do not come up to the surface very often. They really like staying near the reefs and towards the bottom, so it's very unlikely that you will catch one with a normal fishing pole or with a net.
Are there many incidents, I guess, as far as trying to catch them? Do you know, or is it fairly easy if you are careful?
So a lot of the videos I've watched of people fishing for the lionfish, they go down and they wear specific gloves. So then they shoot them with the spear fishing pole and take them with the gloves and put them into a special net. So they keep themselves protected. They're not a very aggressive fish. They will not specifically target a human or go after it. It's only if you go after it, it's going to be a defensive mechanism.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
I guess I have a question. I don't know if it'll make sense, but
It's okay.
so I know that it seems they're trying to catch more of these lionfish. Do you know if it's actually decreased the population, or if it's been very effective yet?
Actually, just about a week ago, I read an article. I'm not sure how truthful it was, but the lionfish, are seeing a decrease in the population, and it could be one of two things. The humans are making an impact, or they have some sort of disease. So scientists are looking into it. That was pretty much what the article consisted of. But I thought that was interesting. Either way, it's good that the population is subsiding a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I have yet to try it. Matt and I actually looked into trying to try it before my speech today, but it just didn't happen. I've been pretty busy with finals and everything, so. But it's on the, like, top things I want to try right now.
I have a question.
Yes.
How is the venom actually introduced into the predator or the attacking?
So they have up to 18 venomous spines. They have a bunch of spines on them, but these top, the anterior dorsal fins are venomous, and then they have 3 anal fins that are also
So you have to
venomous.
pretty much make contact with that to have.
Yeah, so in a relaxed environment, their spines are kind of more flattened, and then when they get anxious, they kind of spark up, and that's when they'll attack
Gotcha.
you with their spines.
So if you go to bite it, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, so if adding to his question, if one of the spines you said that could be cut off with scissors, happened to be missed and got cooked, has there been any research on that, or if the poisonous part actually got cooked, would there be any repercussions?
I am not 100% certain if there's been an occasion that someone's accidentally eaten one. I would imagine that any poison left over would be cooked off during cooking. I can't imagine the poison staying contained after being experienced to high heats like that. But I can't say for certain, and I'd have to look that up to get a guaranteed answer. Okay. All right. All questions?
Oh, I'm good.
I have one just, I don't know if it's really a question, but it is then, have you seen or heard any more, being that you're in Florida? I've seen a couple articles on how they were trying to train hammerhead sharks to eat the lionfish, and I thought that was really cool, but I haven't followed up on it. Have you seen anything new with that?
Yeah, so scientists, their main hope is that the local predators will start viewing the lionfish as food. With the more and more they're in their environment, the more they get used to them, the more they're gonna figure out ways and evolve to eating them. So I wouldn't doubt it. I have not read that, but that's very interesting that the hammerhead shark.
Look into it. It's pretty cool. I guess they're trying to train the sharks. Actually, I mean wild sharks. So training being a loose term there, but to actually attack them because there's something about sharks that they're not affected by the venom.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look into that. Thanks, Jess.
Nice.
All right, well, I think if that's all everyone's questions, Matt's going to start the critique session, okay?
Sounds great.
Okay. So, now this is the critique session. So, what did the speaker do well, and what does the speaker need to improve? And anybody can jump in if you want to.
And don't worry about hurting my feelings. I have a
I'll
thick skin.
jump in.
Okay.
I thought that you were very enthusiastic about the topic, and I was really interested, and it was easy for me to follow. If anything could be worked on, I would say, sorry.
No, you're perfectly fine.
Sorry. Give, hold on, come back to me.
Okay, no problem. Anybody else?
I think you are very well prepared and very knowledgeable about the subject, and I learned a lot about lionfish, and I'd be interested to see what it tastes like.
Me as well.
Ditto. I wasn't aware of the topic. I'm not the biggest fish guy in the world, but I am definitely interested in trying lionfish, and I'm actually a little curious about the topic myself.
Yes, I learned a lot on lionfish. I didn't know actually people were actually eating them to save the environment, and it's actually pretty interesting. I do want to try some lionfish out, and you know, it sounds like a healthy type of fish too. It's not like a bottom feeder, so definitely I want to try them out after watching this. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I was really impressed with the depth of your research and what you knew, especially as far as the questions went. Very impressed by that. Your delivery was awesome. I don't really have a whole lot of critique other than knowing you. You came off as confident to someone else, but to me, knowing you, you could be way more confident. But again, that's just knowing you. Otherwise, I am very impressed with, again, your knowledge, the enthusiasm, like Dorothy said. You were well prepared, and you related to all of us, you know, right off the get-go, as far as seafood and, you know, where we live. Each of us is different, but we can all relate to what we eat and where it comes from and the environment. And that was really cool to, right off the bat, be able to be on the same page and know where you were coming from. And that's what made you seem confident. But knowing you, you could, you know. But hey, speeches are also daunting. So that's my only really bad critique. I think you did a great job.
Yes, wonderful.
I agree with CatZe on that one too.
I agree with Chelsea as well.
Thank you, guys.
You did an awesome job, and I think we all often get nervous for our own people, and we can all relate. So I think you did awesome.
Yes.
All right, thank you guys. I think that's everything.